Hello, Notre Dame fans. I'm Tyler Horka. That's Jack Soble. We are here at L&N Stadium. I still don't know what that means. I need to look that up. But that doesn't matter because obviously this was the site of the number 10 Fighting Irish versus the number 25 Cardinals. They're not going to be number 25 anymore. The Irish aren't going to be number 10 anymore either. Suffer their second loss of the season in a 33-20 defeat to the Cardinals. I would say it wasn't even that close because it was a little worse than that at one point. But, I mean, it's not like Louisville was ever blowing Notre Dame out until it got to be 33 to 13 was the worst of it. And that was late. The Sam Hartman interception problem that he had at Wake Forest came alive for the Irish tonight in a way that they did not want to. But really, Jack, I'm going to set you up with this. As Marcus Freeman said in the postgame press conference, it wasn't just Sam Hartman. The entire offense was bad, from protection to the running game to the wide receivers not showing up again. What the heck happened?
Yeah, the offense looks broken right now. There's no easier way to say that. They couldn't run the ball. Audric Estime finished, I don't even need to look at the stats for this, 10 rushes, 26 yards.
Yeah, you'll remember that.
10 rushes, 26 yards for Audric Estime, the number one rusher in the country right now. Yeah, they couldn't block. Jared Park, the offensive coordinator, he caught a lot of flack, and probably deservedly so. I don't think he called a good game. He definitely didn't have his offense prepared to play. And the whole team, as a side note, Marcus Freeman admitted after the game, they were not prepared to play, and anyone who watched the game could have seen that. But blaming the play calling can be a little bit of a cop-out at times because it's an easy solution. Like, you change one thing, the play caller, everything gets fixed. That's not the case here. The play caller, he called not a run up the gut on 3rd and 1. It was a cute, creative play. Chris Tyree dropped the handoff, the fumble on the exchange. Called 2 runs up the gut on 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2 or 3.
Nothing was working on 3rd down.
Nothing was working on 3rd down. They couldn't block. They couldn't do anything. Jared Parker didn't drop a touchdown like Chris Tyree did. Jared Parker didn't throw 3 interceptions. I mean, he deserves some of the blame for what happened tonight. But if the play calling is your main takeaway from this game, I really don't think it should be.
Yeah, the main takeaway is the offense just looking bad in general. And let's be honest, we get it. Notre Dame played 2 really good opponents in Ohio State and Duke, but there was always that little figment in your mind that said, oh man, Notre Dame didn't look very good offensively in this game. So, is that who the Irish are? I think we got closer to saying yes tonight. And maybe you emphatically say yes.
I think as of now, As of now, I think you definitely have to say yes to that. Louisville, their defense, I don't think was impressing really anyone through the first few games, especially given the opponents they played. I think you could have said past 2 games it was just Ohio. It was Ohio State. It was Duke, but yeah, it just wasn't that today. And we could see the signs. The main thing I point to is all the Mitchell Evans targets. We're Notre Dame fans are celebrating that Mitchell Evans is playing awesome. But he's the only guy Sam Hartman was throwing to, and you saw that late tonight. Louisville knew that Sam Hartman was only going to Mitchell Evans on some of those key passing downs. He was staring him down. They were prepared for it. It just wasn't working anymore, and he didn't have anywhere else to go when it wasn't. And I think that's kind of the biggest sign that there's not much they can do in the passing game right now.
Jack, Notre Dame fans are not going to want to hear this. You weren't here last year, but you know enough about the team last year to know that everything that you just said feels like 2022 Drew Pine, Michael Mayer, Notre Dame offense. And I just never thought that we'd get to a point with Sam Hartman, who had 14 touchdowns and no interceptions through 6 games this season. It would be like that, but that's another thing that in those Ohio State and Duke games that kind of translated here tonight to suggest that, that's a fourth of a Notre Dame season right there, these last 3 games. And it's been all Mitchell Evans or nothing for the Notre Dame passing offense. For the rushing offense, we've kind of joked to each other about these hollow 5 yards, 6 yards per game or per carry games for Audric Estime. He didn't have that tonight, obviously. He just had a flat, bad game. What went wrong with the running game tonight?
They just couldn't block. They were rotating the guards. Marcus Freeman told us after the game that they identified guard and center Zeke Correll got a series off. Interior offensive line play as something that was not good from the Duke game. And like I get that, but if you're rotating the guards, you throw them off. You throw the offensive line off its rhythm. They can't really establish chemistry between each other if you're rotating them like that. Like if you want to replace the guards, replace the guards. I really don't think rotating them like this really helped anything tonight.
This venue tonight was not the site for an offensive line audition in the first week.
Practice is the site for an offensive line audition.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make a change, do it then.
And obviously they did. They went with some different things, but like, what could have Notre Dame coaches seen in practice to be like, yeah, this is something we can do in the game? Like, I thought Notre Dame overall had a decent thing going with the offensive line. Honestly, I know Duke did a lot to pressure Notre Dame in that game. Louisville did a lot to pressure Notre Dame in this game. So I guess that's opponents figuring out a weakness and attacking it. But like, what did they see in practice to be like, this is going to be a good idea to mix up our offensive line and to. We spent the entire first half of this video, Jack, talking about. I wrote it at blueandgold.com. Notre Dame offense is scuffling, in shambles, like it's not working. Yeah. And on top of that, you throw in the offensive line wrinkle. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. And here's another thing that shows you how much the Notre Dame offense is scuffling and struggling and just kind of meandering along. This is no shot at Jordan Faison. He was excellent in fall camp. He was a guy that was showing up on everybody's radar in fall camp, making plays. 36-yard touchdown tonight. He also moved the change on 3rd and 8 with a 12-yard completion. But, Jack, this is a walk-on who's on scholarship at Notre Dame for lacrosse, and he might be your best wide receiver tonight outside of 3 Chris Tyree catches. Yep. Is that not just the biggest embodiment of what Notre Dame doesn't have in the passing game?
No, it is, and like the other thing is, you're right that Jordan Faison was their best receiver tonight. They didn't go back to him after that touchdown. It's confusing. Jaden Greathouse, he was back from the hamstring injury. He had to have been not completely healthy because he really didn't play a ton. I didn't see Jaden Thomas out there a ton. He had to have not been 100%. The receiver room it's just a mess right now. It really is. And did Rico Flores come back into the game after?
Rico Flores came back. I was just about to mention he got dinged, but that's another one. And this was even before all of that when Faison was out there and. If he's this good, why wasn't he playing earlier?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like Notre Dame had 3 receivers rotating last week. Was Faison like really that much more ready to play this week than he was last week? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So, I guess we should talk about the other side of the ball a little bit. For the Louisville offense, for me, it was Jawar Jordan just being a dude in this game in a way that nobody outside of Jordan Faison maybe for Notre Dame. I know Mitchell Evans caught a touchdown pass late, but even he gave a little shrug, like it's too little too late type of deal. Jawar Jordan, Notre Dame couldn't tackle him. Notre Dame couldn't stop him. He scores on touchdown runs of 45 yards and 21 yards in the second half. You could kind of feel that coming even in the first half. Like that first Louisville touchdown drive, we were sitting right next to each other. I think we both said it to each other. Louisville looked a little faster on that side of the ball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like we kind of saw these signs earlier in the season against Central Michigan. We saw these signs against Duke last week. We saw these signs. Is that the run defense can struggle in spurts, and the reason it can is because the tackling, the linebackers aren't fast enough. I think we saw that a couple times tonight. Yeah. And when a really speedy, explosive running back, we got to give credit to Jawar Jordan. He's so fast. He's so explosive. When he gets a big hole like he had on a 45-yarder, he just deletes tackling angles so quickly, especially against linebackers like Notre Dame's, who tonight weren't fast enough and got drawn in too far to the line of scrimmage and just didn't have an angle to him.
Yeah, and speaking of angles, even DJ Brown in the secondary, the guys that are supposed to have speed took a poor angle on one of those Jawar Jordan touchdowns. So it's not like Notre Dame was terrible defensively, Jack. I don't know how quick you can pull up the number, but I mean, what was it, like 350 total yards they allowed, maybe? And but here's the issue. Here's why Louisville was able to win with Jack Plummer throwing for 145 yards. It's because Notre Dame offense only got 298 yards, and I mean, shoot, maybe 60 of those were on that last drive, the garbage time drive that ended in a touchdown to Evans. So let's spin forward now. If this is what Notre Dame is, I know that USC defense is really bad, and Colorado put up numbers on it. Who are some other teams? San Jose State, Arizona State.
What's Arizona doing tonight? I heard.
I'm not sure where that game is right now. You guys are probably watching it as we speak. But Arizona's probably putting up numbers on USC right now.
17-14 at half right now.
I'll ask you, Jack, is this Notre Dame team equipped even to go against that poor of a USC defense and, stay in a shootout or be in a shootout? I've completely lost confidence in that.
Yeah, I don't think you can have any confidence right now that this Notre Dame team can win a shootout. And it's the disappointing thing is at the beginning of the season we were like, all right, if they need to, then Sam Hart. It was supposed to be the difference. If they need to be in a shootout with USC, they can stay in a shootout with USC. We haven't seen anything over the past 3 weeks that says they can stay in a shootout with USC. And USC's offense looks unstoppable right now. They match up very well against Notre Dame. You can check out Blue and Gold Illustrated at the on paper section as to why tomorrow morning. But USC's offense matches up very well against this Notre Dame defense. It doesn't look good right now.
So we could leave it there, but I want to get your final thoughts on just not just USC, but Notre Dame with 5 games left in this season. What are your thoughts, man? This was a seminal moment in the season. I think this was an inflection point because you win this, you set up a huge date with USC, and the whole win-out thing is still there. Nobody's going to be talking about winning out now because winning out doesn't matter. A 10-2 Notre Dame team doesn't make the college football playoff. But, can this Notre Dame team win 9 games is the ceiling? Is that it? You feel like this Notre Dame team is going to lose again because of what you saw tonight?
Yeah, you do. And Notre Dame has next week and 4 more games to change that. This still can be a successful season for Notre Dame. A successful season doesn't necessarily have to make the college football playoff. If they win out, finish 10-2, even lose to USC and win every game after the bye week, you enter next season with a hint of confidence. Maybe win the bowl, maybe win a bowl game as well. But the next 5 games are going to be big for the future of this program, for the future of Marcus Freeman's program. It's just a matter of how they respond to this one because like you said, college football playoff dreams completely dashed tonight.
Yeah. So I'm not sure this Notre Dame team's going to win 10 games in the regular season. I really think they're going to lose. Based on what I saw tonight, there's another loss coming. The goal's got to be win 10 games with a bowl game. I think that's doable. This could be a 10-3 Notre Dame team, even with what we saw tonight. But, man, that would be a big success if they get to that because what we saw tonight was not great, and that's what we'll leave you with, unfortunately. I wish we had better news to bring you guys. We just don't. Again, we're at L&N Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, where the Cardinals beat the Fighting Irish 33-20.